Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy. I'm back with another live stream video. Breaking news. This just came down the news wire. Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN is reporting this, but it looks like the Los Angeles Clippers, have found their next successor when it comes to a head coach. They have agreed to terms with Tyronn Lue. It's going to be a 5-year deal, and Tyronn Lue will be coaching the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, also in this report, there have been several outlets, including ESPN, is also reporting that Chauncey Billups is going to be one of the assistant coaches, all right, for the Los Angeles Clippers. Let me repeat that one more again for the nation, all right? Tyronn Lue is the new head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, and one of the assistants on the roster of assistant coaches will be Chauncey Billups. This will be Chauncey Billups' first opportunity in coaching. Now, what does all of this mean? To me, this was pretty much writing on the wall. I mean, if Stevie Wonder can see this, all right, that's why it took them so long to find a coach, because they already found the coach. Okay, and Tyronn Lue was an assistant coach to Doc Rivers, and a lot of the older players that was on the roster before Kawhi and Paul George was familiar with Tyronn Lue, all right, because he rolled in the same circles as those players were, like Patrick Beverly and others. And then when you talk about, and when you also talk about Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they have similar paths. Okay, so I think this is a great fit. Now, a lot of people are gonna state this. Okay, they're gonna say the real reason why he got this job was because he used to coach LeBron James, and he can be kryptonite to LeBron James because he knows all of LeBron's strengths and weaknesses. And that's further from the truth. I think the real reason why he got this job is simple. He's a great communicator. He's a good listener, and he's more of a player's coach. All right, Doc Rivers he's borderline player coach, but old school, and he tries to balance that, and that's why he couldn't establish a lot of relationships with players that played under him. That's why Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan was kind of they didn't understand when they used to play under Doc Rivers. They just couldn't build a good relationship. Okay, and on top of that, what magnified that even worse was his son was on the team. And Chris Paul and Blake Griffin was kind of resentful of that, okay, including DeAndre Jordan. And they just couldn't understand, they just couldn't understand that element. And that's why the relationship was kind of fractured. And, they had to, start all over again, trade those players. Doc Rivers was GM and head coach, and then they just stripped the GM title from him, and now he was just a coach, all right? And, everyone saw the writing on the wall, all right? And the only reason why Doc Rivers wasn't fired sooner was because of his track record. He had a very successful regular season. He just couldn't get his team over the hump, and they was like a player away from getting over the hump. So that's why they went into last year's offseason, and he got Kawhi Leonard, all right, and the rest they say was history, all right. So this was boom. I mean, this was NBA Finals or bust for Doc Rivers, all right, and and particularly the exit this playoffs really didn't bolster the confidence in the Lakers organization to Doc Rivers. Okay, they barely squeaked by the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, if Luka wasn't injured in a couple of those games, who knows? The Clippers probably could have been bounced out of that series. All right, and then they met the Utah Jazz, had a commanding 3-1 lead, and then the rest is history on that. They squandered the lead and they squandered the series, and you knew heads were going to roll from that. Okay. And a lot of people are giving Doc Rivers and the Clippers excuses, talking about they was looking forward to the Lakers, and they just they had the eyes off the road, and that's the reason why they lost to the Jazz. I need to repark my car. But you knew heads were going to roll. Somebody was going to lose their job, and it happened to be Doc Rivers. You can't fire all the players, but you do, but you can fire the coach. And it seems like the players were not listening to Doc Rivers. There was a whole lot of arguments and things of that nature, even the beginning of last season. All right. And when the pandemic hit and they suspended the regular season, okay, it didn't help. It didn't help matters either. Okay, when they came back into the bubble format, a multitude of players did not want to do the bubble format, that including the Clippers as well as the Los Angeles Lakers. It was a lot of people that didn't like this bubble format, but a lot of teams and a lot of players just played through with it. All right, and the Clippers, they just kept it X in their minds. Okay, they was frustrated about playing under this bubble. Now, if you want to use that as an excuse to say, well, that's the reason why they kept their eyes off the road and they squandered their 3-1 lead with the Utah Jazz, and somehow, some way, that's the reason. Okay, but it's more layers to that. It's more complex, a little bit deeper than that. I felt like ultimately, and it started in the regular season before they suspended it. It started back then. Doc couldn't galvanize Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to his current roster. Okay, the roster Doc Rivers coached for several years. They had no superstar on that roster, and everyone was equal. Nobody wasn't above anybody. Nobody didn't get any perks, no benefits, none of that stuff. Okay, it was a lunch pail mentality. All right, and then upper management traded for. Got Kawhi Leonard signed, traded for Paul George, but the caveat to that is they had to commence to what Kawhi Leonard wanted. Kawhi Leonard wanted time off. Kawhi Leonard wanted perks. He wanted benefits. Okay, and some of those players were looking at Kawhi Leonard kind of, like they was taste like had a sour face on them. A lot of those players were resentful of Kawhi Leonard, and that even fractured the relationship even more. So Ty Lue has a better understanding to this roster. He was an assistant coach to this roster this year, and he has embedded a lot of relationships with everyone on the roster, and he used to coach superstars. He used to coach a LeBron James, who's automatically a superstar. He coached an up-and-coming Kyrie Irving. He before Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving that we knew of today, he saw the manufacturing of Kyrie Irving in the beginning stages. Okay, and he and his diva ways. So he's been tested through time, and and this right here, I think this is a great job for Ty Lue. Really, to be truthfully honest with you, the Clippers couldn't go anywhere else. Okay, it's not like they could get a Greg Popovich or a Phil Jackson. I think this is the closest. I think when you look at the teams that have new head coaches, all right, I think the Clippers have the best coach from this free agency. And a lot of people wanted Ty Lue, okay? The Pelicans wanted Ty Lue. Brooklyn Nets wanted Ty Lue. The 76ers wanted Ty Lue, all right? So he was a top candidate, all right? And, and that's all I got to say on it. I mean, I think, as far as this solidifies the roster, it solidifies, a concrete coach that's player friendly, so he can maneuver those relationships, get those guys to play as one unit. And now with a year under their belt, they know the expectations moving forward. They know Kawhi is going to get the perks. They're going to have to live with it. He's the superstar of the team. He's the face of the franchise. And Paul George is going to reap some of those rewards. But they also know that that's Kawhi's good friend, his good buddy. There's a reason why he's getting these perks. So now it shouldn't be taboo moving forward. Okay, everyone knows moving forward, everyone's role and everyone's position on the roster. Now, I just did a video a couple hours ago about this trade scenario where Paul George was going to go to the Clippers and they was going to get Russell Westbrook. I don't see this trade happening, but clearly the Clippers need a third banana, okay? They need their own miniature big three over there. Okay, and if there's somehow, some way they can swing Russell Westbrook and take him off the hands of the Rockets, where they give up so little, they don't have to give up PG. That can be an interesting dynamic. Okay, and I think the Clippers, even without Russell Westbrook, is going to be a major threat to the Lakers. They're going to be re-energized, retooled, refocused, under new leadership, under a new coaching scheme, and Ty Lue is pretty good with his X's and O's. So yeah, that's all I got to say on this. But breaking news, Ty Lue is the next head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers. Chauncey Billups is going to be an assistant coach. This will be his first time coaching on a professional level when you talk about the NBA. And I think they already got their brain trust in the office. I think they're solid on that. Their coaching staff is solid, okay? And moving forward, this is only going to make the Clippers better. They're going to be a threat to the Lakers, but there's going to be multiple threats to the Lakers, because while the Lakers won the chip, congratulations to the Lakers this year, but the road is not going to get any easier for the Lakers, all right? They got a lot of players on their rosters with one-year deals. What you going to do with those players, all right? Rondo has already opted out, okay? So is there a possibility of him re-signing back to the Lakers? I don't know. Do the Los Angeles Lakers have enough salary cap flexibility to retool that roster to maybe give LeBron and AD even a better roster? Okay, that's the question. All right, Boogie Cousins, what about him? He was injured this year. He got a ring, okay? But is Boogie Cousins coming back to that? And what type of Boogie Cousins you're going to get? What about Dwight Howard? Okay, so the list, they got a whole lot of what ifs on that roster, and those what ifs can be quiet. Well, those what ifs would not, wouldn't be a serious threat to them if they have enough salary cap to re-sign and retool that roster again, get some of those veteran players back and retool for even younger players. But while the Lakers are trying to do that, you also have to realize the Utah Jazz is going to get a lot better. Okay, the Clippers are going to get a lot better. The Golden State Warriors, with all this rest, is going to get a lot better. All right, and you still got the Phoenix Suns. They're only going to get better. The Sacramento Kings, they can only get better. Okay, as well as the Memphis Grizzlies. They can get better, okay? So the West can be the West can be a collision. Now, the Rockets, if they keep what they have status quo, they're going to be good enough to have a winning, successful season in the regular season, but they won't have enough to elevate them to the promised land. Same recipe like last year, the year before, and the year before that. Nothing new has changed with the Rockets, okay? The Rockets are really not a serious threat to anyone. But if they catch a couple of breaks in the playoffs, who knows, okay? That's if they keep Russell Westbrook, okay? And I explained to you guys in my video why I feel like I think the Rockets deep down inside want to do what the Oklahoma City Thunder did, which is rebuild and retool. Go back into the draft and build your future there, because you don't have a future now. You don't have enough pieces to beat the good teams. You barely have enough pieces to squeak by and edge the average teams, okay? And they're sort of in the middle of the road. They're too good to where they can't even get a top round pick, even if they had a top draft pick, all right? And they're not good enough to beat those upper echelon teams, all right? So, yeah, that's all I got for that. Just want to let you guys know Tyronn Lue is the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, and he's going to bring Chauncey Billups with them. Who knows who else they're going to bring? I'm pretty sure they're going to be I'm pretty sure Tyronn Lue is going to be bringing a lot of his coaching staff from Cleveland to the Clippers. All right, and that's it. So, guys, it's your boy, the host with the most. I'm up out of here, deuces. I appreciate everyone came by. Hit the like button. I really do appreciate everyone coming by. Thank you.